or I'm not going to learn and go back to the penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't happening.
Man, listen.
Let's get after it and make today a win.
Rock thunder so hard yesterday, you can still hear it rolling today.
My wins for yesterday were
big wins for us yesterday was. So my win yesterday was.
These things are like sweet.
Let's go. Fred, first and foremost, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you for inviting me.
I know it ain't no Dr. Drew podcast, but
yeah, this is better.
I do have to ask though, man, what was that experience like?
It was really nice. It was different. We went to a building that is dedicated to nothing but podcasts from all different aspects. I mean, they had 5 or 6 different rooms. We all looked in to see what one we were going to be most comfortable in. We had a whole wet bar. The place was off the hook. And Dr. Drew was real insightful. You know, he had a lot of good questions, and I really think he can get the word out there for New Freedom, you know, because there was a lot of people that watched that. A lot of people I knew asked me about it, like, hey, could you get his autograph? I'm like, I don't think I'm going to see him. But it was real cool.
Was he even there in the studio? He was somewhere else, right?
He was in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice thing. It was just good to get the word out for New Freedom.
Right.
You know, and plus the word out for our company.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really the New Freedom thing. And I hear this works in it for us to go back there again as our company. You know,
really?
To help out. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Go teach the painting class again.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I definitely know that there's some things in the works, and I can't talk about it just yet, but there's some things on the horizon that's coming, you know, as far as getting back into the vocational training and getting back into doing what we love doing, the passion behind it.
Yeah, because I think that's where your guys' bread and butter is, seeing who's got the eye for wanting to be helped. You know, they're just pushing people to that program. You guys were there, and they got to have somewhere to go.
Right.
You can go to the program, but if you have nowhere to go, the program's not really working.
Mm-hmm.
When we went through the program, there was other companies hiring. You guys were hiring. So I mean, there was places for us to go. And without that, you don't really have nothing. It's not much of a program if you don't have somewhere to go afterwards.
Right.
Because you're just going to fall back into the same cycle.
Because that's one of those stepping stones. You know, you get into the rehabilitation side of things, and you're there for 90 days to kind of get your things back in order. Your driver's license, your birth certificate, your social security card. But the next stepping stone is to obviously learn a trade and, you know, and then move out of that program into a transitional home or halfway house. But also on the same token, have a job because you obviously have bills to pay.
Yeah.
You know, and the biggest thing, not only through getting a job, but also was the life skills and learning how to be a good employee, you know, and learning how to manage your money and budget and be a better person all in all. And for you being in those classes with us at the very beginning, what was that like for you, the class, the life skills?
For someone of my age, I had known most of the life skills, but I just didn't use them. For the younger guys that didn't have an upbringing, that's important stuff. And it's simple stuff. Take a shower, brush your teeth, pack your lunch for work the next day, set out your clothes. It's real simple, but like John used to say, common sense. There's not much of it anymore. It's not so common.
There's not.
When I came through there, I was 50, I'm going to say 56 or 57. And it opened my eyes. You guys opened my eyes to that. I don't have to end my life like I lived it. There's a better ending than there was in the middle. Going through your program and then getting hired. I got hired like 2 weeks into that program by Mr. Bill Turpin.
Mm-hmm. Rest in peace.
Yeah. And it was, it really it saved my life. It saved my relationship because my girl was she dropped off my motorcycle. She dropped off my clothes and said, I'm done. I asked her for the 90 days. I went through the program. I said, before I leave this program, I'll have a job because I already said it in my head that I'll be one of the guys that's getting hired because you guys said you're only going to be able to hire so many people. So I did what it took to get hired. I listened. That's the big thing, is just listening. I didn't know nothing about painting. I knew enough to get by to start with, but I listened to the guys that have experience and picked it up because there's no backup for me.
Right.
It's either I'm going to learn and be good at it, or I'm not going to learn and go back to the penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't happening. So
That was off the table. That wasn't even an option.
no, I just dove in. And to be really honest, you and John, really, you guys showed the caringness of just not for me, but for the other people. That's a big thing at my age. Like, someone gave a fuck about what happened to me.
Right.
You guys did. And it wasn't just talk. I've been here almost 3 years, and everything you guys have ever said, you backed up. There hasn't been something that was been told to me that hasn't come about.
Mhm.
I did the program. I did the recipe you guys set out, and here I am, 61 years old, and I don't think I've ever been doing this good my whole life.
Yeah.
I got my own place now. Me and my girl just moved in, been here for a month.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard because of our no credit. I had enough money, but I have no credit. My credit is zero.
Right.
So, but I got into a place, and now we're moving up.
But let me ask you a question. So you graduated the program and you've been very successful since you've been out.
Yeah.
And you have grown and made a lot of changes within your life for growth and for the better. But being in that vocational program, if the life skills weren't there, what do you think you would have gotten out of that? And I'm
Absolutely nothing.
that's what I'm looking for.
Absolutely nothing. Without those life skills, that's a game changer, because it's not teaching you about working. It's teaching you just how to be a better person. Show respect. Come in on time. Be there early. Do the extra things that you need to do. Hey, your neighbors, you live next to an older lady. She's having a hard time getting her shit up the stairs. What are you going to do? You going to push past her, or are you going to help her?
Right.
That's what that life skills teaches you, just to be a better person.
Because we all grew up living some lifestyle that obviously was not the right lifestyle.
Yeah.
And our minds were trained to live some type of way. And when you get into that program, you need to retrain your thought process in your mind
Oh, yeah.
to be not only a good employee, but to be a better person in general, and how to mesh with society and be a better member in the community, because our lifestyle before, we were not good
No,
members.
our best thought process got us where we were.
Right.
So that had to change. And that being said is, like when I was locked up, I started doing the NA and AA programs. And I'm not really down with all that shit, but I had to just do something to see where I needed to change. And the big thing in that program is reassociation and relocation. So I've got friends I've known for 35 years. I cut everybody loose. I got one friend, he's 10 years sober, and I'm still friends. We still talk all the time. And I have my girl.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I have new friends. I have sober friends. I have friends at work. Really not friends. It's a family at work. I got a brother, I keep in touch with him all the time. I keep in touch with my sister in Florida, my kids. But as far as my old friends, you got to get away from that.
You have to cut them out.
I've been locked up 3 times, and every time I come out, I went right back to the same playground, and the same shit's happened.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't go to a different playground, different things are going to happen. I'm employed. I get a check every week. I pay my bills. And here I am.
Yeah.
This is, and like I've said before, the most important thing that's ever happened to me was my girl said, "You're a man of your word." Because I've told her what I was going to do, and I've done everything I've told her. And that means more to me than anything, because for a lot of years, I wasn't a man of my word.
Mm.
I just told her what I thought she needed to hear. And that was it.
Yeah.
Now, my life has changed drastically. My motorcycles used to be the center of my life. I still like my bikes, but it's I just take care of hers is more important to me,
Right.
because I treated her bad for too long.
Yeah.
And she's a good person. She's a real good person. She's a caring person. We had our demons for years, me and her, but we're both evolving,
Mm-hmm.
and we're both old.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you don't have to say, "Oh, I'm too old to do this," or I've been doing this for so many years. That's bullshit. If you want to get better and change, you can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big thing, is what you guys taught us. It doesn't matter. You guys have seen so many people fail, and then a lot of people do good, but you don't let the ones that do bad stop you from helping the next group coming in.
Right.
And that's a commendable thing, because a lot of people get burned out with, you might have 25 guys and only 2 of them did good. and the rest failed.
Hmm.
That doesn't deter you or John. You guys get 25 more, and maybe if you can help one or two of them, that's a win.
Yeah.
That's always a win.
I think at the end of the day, too, it's like, even those people that didn't make it, and some of them, they worked for us and then they went to another company and just that our company was not best suited for them.
Yeah.
But they're still doing good.
Yeah.
So
It's a win. It's a win.
right. It's a win. And the one thing that I really try to focus on is the ones that really want to invest into themselves. And the thing about it is a lot of people are always 1 foot in and 1 foot out. They're not focused on themselves. And that's one of the biggest changes during this time frame is they have to put the effort into themselves. And if they don't put it in for themselves, then nobody else can force you to do that and make those changes. I could talk it to them blue in the face, but if you don't put it in the work, then you're not going to make it.
Yeah, you can't take care of someone else if you can't take care of yourself first. That's what I learned, and that was a big takeaway for me. Was if I'm not right, I'm not going to be able to help whoever needs it next. I've been on your podcast now. I've been on with John. I've been on the Dr. Drew show. I've been to some AA meetings at the place, and people, they say, "Oh yeah, we know who you are." And it's like if they could just get a little bit of what I took away and listen, and that's a good thing for me. I'm not real big into the meetings because it's real simple. If you're going to stop, you're going to stop. I don't need to have someone tell me, well, you got to do this, this, and this in order to stop. No, you don't. You just got to stop. That's it. Simple. It's pretty simple.
It's just stopping, period.
You just got to stop doing it.
I was the same way, coming out of my recovery, and I just had to change my thought process, and focus on the things that I wanted to do to become a better person.
Yeah.
And when I did that, that's when everything started falling into place. But on the same token, there's a lot of people out there that want to reach for the stars and grab everything and get it right away.
No,
You can't do that.
It's a long, drawn out process.
100%.
I'll be out 3 years in July.
And let's talk about that because there's stepping stones, right?
Oh yeah.
And everything happens when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And I always talk about this story because it was like me growing in with PHP painting when I first started with John. And I grew up in positions very fast because I was so dedicated and loyal and passionate about what I did. And if I had started as a superintendent and I moved up to part owner of the company right away, I would have failed miserably because I didn't grow and groom through all the different positions moving up to the top.
You can't get everything at once.
Exactly. And that kind of goes for, getting everything in your hands right now.
Oh no, it
You
doesn't.
can't. So how were those stepping stones for you after you graduated New Freedom, obviously starting work with us? What was that like for you?
I started the first day out, October 18th of 22. I came to work. I moved into the Safe and Sound Sober Living. You guys said you guys wanted us there 6-8 months, to get our feet on the ground. I stayed there 2.5 years. My girl wanted to make sure I was ready. I wanted to move out. Hell yeah, I want my own place. But when we got it, it took 2.5 years for us to get our own place. But now we got it. The next thing is I'm building my credit with a secured credit card. This is all stuff that I've talked to you and I've talked to John about. You guys have set me out with a little plan, and I'm following it, and it's working. There's friends of mine that came here, did the same thing, but they didn't follow the plan. They're not working. It's not working for them. They're not even working now. You know what I mean? It's just, you got to realize, like you said, you're not going to get it all in one day. Rome wasn't built in a day. It took a long time. Well, it took me over 40 years to get off the dope and get my act together. And it took me 2.5 years to get my own place, maybe another year to get my credit built up. And then I'll have a place that I'll choose where I want to live. I didn't really get to choose this place. It's the only one that would rent to me because of my credit. But by paying my electric bill, by paying my cable bill, my credit's going to start going up.
100%.
Paying the credit card, it's going to start going up. And then we'll make our choice. Even though I'm 61, it's Like I called you and told you, yeah, I paid my rent. You're like some little kid. I'm like, Susie was, we've come a long way. Because I've been with her almost 30 years. Even though I was locked up 17, we've been together. And we've both been on the bad side. Now we're on the good side.
Yeah.
And it feels, it's just probably one of the best feelings in my life. And people laugh, oh, you're old. Why is it such a big deal? Because I've never paid bills. I never done that stuff. Once or twice. But now I got and Susie sometimes says I'm anal about it, but I have, every week I got so much set out for this bill, every week for this bill, every week the rent, so I know I'm going to have everything covered. I might not go and do a lot of things, but I go home to my own place now.
Right.
That's what's cool. I go home, the dogs are there, let them out. We got a schedule, we got a thing we do, and it's gratifying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a work in progress, but by no means am I cured of all the stupid shit, because I'm sure going to court for beating up my neighbor, but it's not,
But you have structure.
yeah.
And I think that's the way it is for me too. My life has been very structured since I got my life together, and I haven't changed. I come to work, I go home, I go to the gym, I go home, I take care of my wife and kids, and I spend time with my family.
Yeah.
I don't go out and have anything outside of that, because that was my structure, and it has helped me get to where I'm at today.
Yeah.
Why would I change something that works?
Yeah. That's the bad thing. Like some people think they can go through it. Oh, I've lived at the halfway house for a couple months, I'm going to get on my own. And then it doesn't work. They think they do good for a little bit. It's, they're better. It doesn't work like that. It's just like those guys that take steroids. Oh, if I take a little bit, if I take more, I'll even be bigger. Well, it doesn't work like that, because you gotta put in to get in. I come to work every day. I started out as a painter, actually with John Warner. Me and him, no one, you guys said, oh, you're going to go with John Warner. He's done run 5 guys off. I said, well, he ain't running me off. So me and John work real well together. We got a lot of stuff done. He got moved up, and I moved up pretty quick myself. I got moved up to a lead, and then, I'm getting older. My legs are getting bad. You guys put me in the warehouse. So now I help Joel with the mechanic stuff. Plus I deliver, and we get along real well. I moved up in increments every couple 6, 8, 10 months, 6, 8, 10 months.
Right.
But I put in the work to get where I'm at.
100% you did.
So, and it's just gratifying knowing I got a place here till I'm done working, because without knowing that, and sometimes it wonders at a person at my age, it's like, well, what happens if I get fired? Where am I going to go?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to hire me? I could get a job, but it would be like have to get your foot in and show them how good a worker you are.
Right.
I'm reliable. I show up every day. I've only missed a few days since I've been here. And whatever else needed to be done, we do it. But it was the deal is that you guys put so much trust in us that I don't want to fail. I don't want to let you or John down, because no one else was going to give me a chance, and you guys did. You didn't know what you were going to get. Just like with everybody else, you don't know if they're going to be good or they're going to stay or whatever the case is.
But I think that's what a lot of people struggle with too, is they don't people that come from the same background as we do, they don't know their true potential because they've always hindered themselves from being successful or doing anything better for themselves. And when me and John teach the vocational class, we see true potential in everybody. We see what everybody's capable of doing, and we try to pull that out of them. And some of them get scared of that, and they back off. They don't want to do that, So it's just a matter of being able to see that. And that's been one of mine and John's biggest passions, is just really showing everybody that there is something better. You can do better. It's just, you need to see it. And when people like yourself, you see it, and me and John have told you since day one that you are going to retire with us.
Yeah.
You're never going to have to look for another job as long as you continue to do what you're doing. And you have grown so much, and you have kept your word just like we did with you.
Yeah.
And that means a lot.
Well, that's how it should be. Like I've said, you guys, everything you've ever said, you've come up with. I've never been told something that hasn't happened. I mean, the good times, the bad times, we all stick together, And it's, I mean, it's hard sometimes. You know, we were going through a struggle for a while, but everybody showed up. The guys there's a core group here, about 6-8 people that's been here 3 years, except for Barry. He's been here forever. But the rest of us that came through the program, you know, there's probably 8 of us, I'd say.
Yeah.
That are, we're here. We're not going nowhere.
Mhm.
And we might not all get along all the time, but we all got each other's backs. And that's what's nice. You don't see that at a lot of companies. There's a lot of little fractions, over here, there's 3 guys or 5 guys over here. This is all together. We might argue, we might not get along like brothers, but when it comes down to it, we're all there.
When it comes down to business, we mean business.
We're there. We're whatever we need to do to get shit done, we're there to do it.
And I love this environment, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
No, it's well, for lack of a better word, it's a big family.
Right.
From your wife to John's wife to Stephanie up front, everybody is there for each other. If someone's having a bad time, hey, what can we do to help you? How do you want to get through this? You can't, because someone's struggling. Oh, I'm off. You got to pull them in and get them in a headlock and say, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys say, we're only as good as our worst painter.
Mm-hmm.
So pick everybody up, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
A lot of companies don't do that, or they don't take the time out in the morning, like you guys, every morning, out there drinking coffee with us, talking, shaking hands, good morning, every morning. My brother's like, he's like, I don't even think I met my owner. And he works at a small place.
But if you think about it too, everybody that we've hired through this vocational program, everybody at some point in time has been incarcerated. And being locked up, you're just a number at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Here, changing the environment was you're not just an employee. You're a part of the company.
Yeah, your family.
And that's why whenever we talk about different situations, it's treated as if it was your own, right?
Yeah.
And I think I remember having that conversation with you when you were dealing with a situation with one of your buddies that you were trying to cover for because he wasn't pulling his weight.
Yeah.
And I told you, look at the situation as if this was your company.
Yeah. And that's what it finally clicked in with me. My girl was busting my hump about this too. And it was like that. And then, keeping everybody accountable. From being locked up for so long, you got to get rid of that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And just like when you brought that to me the way you did, it's like, this is your company too. So if they're not doing it, they're robbing from you. And then I sat back and thought about it for a while. Well, that's absolutely right. If I'm going to be here till the end, this is my company too. So now that doesn't happen, and I try to explain that to other guys the same way, because it makes more sense when you put it to the point as like, this is your company. What happens when you guys go? The next guys are going to step up, which will be one of us, the guys that are here, and then everybody moves up. Mm-hmm. So that's how you got to look at it. And that changed my whole attitude, because I had a real hard time with that.
I'll never forget that.
It was rough.
And I kept asking you too, Fred, what are you going to do?
Yeah. It got, this is funny too, because I still keep in touch with him. And he's doing all right.
Good.
He's doing all right. But it's something that you can't let happen, because it cost me a lot of extra work.
And you had to go back up and fix everything.
Yeah, and I know it costs the company money, but it's a lesson learned. And that's the big thing, is if you can't learn from your mistakes, then you're not doing right. Everybody makes mistakes.
Right.
So it's all right though. I mean, I learned, and it won't happen again. It's it put a lot of stress. I hated going up there. I hated that place after a while. I've been up for so long, might as well just move up there.
Yeah.
That was a long job.
And a long drive.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, Fred, hearing your story and everything that you've come from and where you are today, what's your biggest win today in your life?
My biggest win today is I'm sober, I'm employed, and I'm at a place in my life that I feel very comfortable in. The job, I mean, I show up every day, because it's not like some people get up and, I got to go to work. It's not like that. I get up, I'm ready to go. I'm happy to be here. And that's my biggest win is just being comfortable. I don't get stressed out too much. It's just, this is a comfortable place to be. It's a comfortable place to work. And the biggest thing is, like you guys alluded to, you guys actually care about us.
Right.
This ain't a joke. A lot of people think it's a game. It's not. When you're in a position like this and you got people that care about you, so you want to do good. You want to do good for them and you want to do good for yourself. But it's just a big weight off your shoulders knowing you're going to a nice place every day. Some people go to work and they dread it. It's like, oh, fuck, I got to go to work again.
I had a few of those before I came here.
Yeah. I never really worked, so I don't know, but this isn't one of them places, you know? This is, and it's, you know, there's hard days. There's days that, like, God damn, but the next day's a new one. So don't let the yesterday ruin what you got going today. That was a big thing for me, was, especially when I was in the field, because it's just not you go home and you're done. You got to go home. And I used to take the plans and look at the plans and make sure I had the shit right, make sure I had the stuff lined out. It's not a 9-to-5 job when you have the responsibility of making sure stuff's done right, especially being out of town. Because I just can't say, hey, could you guys come over here and talk to me about this? Yeah, it doesn't work like that. My first job in Tucson, I learned a lot. I felt overwhelmed, but I learned a lot from my mistakes. And then after that, I was out of town all the time because you guys trusted me, and that was a big responsibility. Because, you know, you're in someone else's house. You're out of town, and you got to get the job done right without messing up. You know, if you mess them up, you should be able to fix it.
Right.
So that was a big responsibility.
There's definitely a lot of trust, you know, in teams that go out of town.
Yeah. Because there's been, I know since I've been here, there's been guys that done out and they haven't done something right at the house, or this happened, or they did this. And it's like, we're not out here to screw around. You're out here to go to work and come home. And I talked to one of the guys, and he was like, yeah, they said, you just go home and shut your door and read a book. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? Go out and party? Run around town? That's not what I'm up there for. And I said, I take it serious. That's what I did. I'd read a book and go to bed and get up and do it. You guys want something to eat? We'll get it on the way home. But I'm not going out afterwards. And I mean, that's pretty much the same I do here. I come home from work. I go to the gym. I go home. Me and Susie usually sit around. She cooks dinner, and then I go read a book. I run around with my dogs outside for a little bit. It's pretty much, like you said, a structured life. Without structure, you don't have anything going. When you're just running around like a nut, you set your goals, and that's how you achieve them, through structure.
Right.
That's how I've done so good, and that's how I keep doing. I don't deviate from anything.
Don't change something that's not broken.
No, I mean, I get up early on the weekends. I go to the gym early on Saturday and Sunday, and in the rest of the day, I Susie's usually got stuff for me to do. We got our apartment set up nice, and it's just so, I don't know what the word would be. It's just so relaxing. My life wasn't like that for years. It was so, and I thought I was having a good time, but I wasn't. This is a good time. I know I'm going to get paid every Friday. I know I'm going to go cash my check. I know I'm going to pay my bills. I'm going to put groceries on. Susie's going to cook. And we go out and do little things, but we got our granddaughter coming around now. She's 15 years old. So it's nice. So it's just so much better than the old life.
Yeah.
And it's all because I went to New Freedom, met you guys. Like John said, it happened for a reason. And I believe that now. At first I was like, nah, I don't know about that, but everything happens for a reason.
100%.
It took so long to get a place. When I was ready to do it, we did it. I didn't push it. And Susie was, at first she wanted to make sure I was going to be okay. So she found out I'm okay, and we did it. So it's nice.
Well, Fred, I really appreciate you coming on again.
Well, thanks for having me. This has been a great deal.
Yeah.
This is nice.
The sole objective of this podcast is to let people know that there are wins, and everybody has a past, and it's not about the past. It's, a lot of people can't see the positive outcomes because they're so focused on the past, right?
Yeah.
And the objective is to let people know that focus on the positive side of things. Stay out of the negative. Focus on the positive.
Yeah, everybody has a past. And that's funny you said that because I was trying to rent a house over in my neighborhood, and I told the guy, "Look, I got a criminal." He's like, "I don't care about your past." My next door neighbor been locked up half his life. Good neighbor. I don't care about that. It's what you're doing now. It looks like you're doing good. You're working. You're trying to move. I said, "Yeah, and that's where you guys are at. It's the past is in the past for a reason. If you keep looking at that, you're never going to get going forward.
Never.
That's why I don't too much let the past, like tomorrow, that's going to be the win. I get up tomorrow and come to work. Today is over with. So whatever happened today, don't worry about it."
As John would say, don't let the past define who you are today.
Right. That's exactly it. Every day, you're going to have bad days. You just got to get through them and go to bed and wake up, and it's another day. Do something better.
Yeah.
Don't let yesterday mess with you today. That's the good thing. And this is a win right here. Getting this story out and letting people see, like you said, there's other ways to do things.
Yeah.
And this is a good one right here.
Right. Again, thank you.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
All right.
And what's your win? Like, subscribe, and follow. We'll see you in the next one. Fred doesn't smile.
Morning, everybody. My win for yesterday was having Andrew and Michael, Timmy out here teaching Michael how to roll doors with a 9-inch roller, and he did a really good job, did a great job at it, picked it up really fast.
Big win for me was getting my weekend crew situated. I was really proud of what they did. We had some newbies doing some spraying. Man, I put those guys on speaker and told them how much I appreciate it and how proud of them I was.
So my win is talking with Greg last night about this project, $280,000 project. Just waiting on a contract to come through. Thank you, Greg, for entrusting me to work on that big project.
Boing! PHP, baby, look. Oh, yeah?